In the Lord of the Rings Online, doing Ered Luin Deeds is the fastest and most popular LOTRO point farm in the game. Since they also award over 30,000 Virtue XP, Ered Luin is the ideal starter region for leveling. In this guide, we'll cover the deed requirements, rewards, and locations, plus routes to finish the region fast. Welcome to my Ered Luin Deeds guide. I'll be covering all aspects of the deeds, so feel free to use the timestamps below to jump to the parts that interest you. Note that this guide won't be covering Sarnur, which is a dungeon in the region aimed at level 45 and above players. Once I have a separate guide for it made, I'll link it in the description. That said, let's jump into the details of the deeds on offer. Like most regions in LOTRO, Ered Luin has Explorer, Quest and Slayer deeds, plus Meta deeds, which are wrappers for completing sets of deeds. The deeds of Ered Luin meta deed requires completing both the Explorer and Slayer meta deeds, as well as the final Quests deed. Note that the deeds of Ered Luin meta deed is also required to complete the deeds of Eriador meta deed, which awards an additional 300 motes and marks. Excluding quest rewards, completing all these deeds will reward you a total of 32,000 Virtue XP, 12,500 Thorin's Hall Reputation, 130 LOTRO Points, 3 Rejuvenation Potions, 5 titles, 300 motes of enchantment, and 330 marks. While these rewards are less than those from Bree deeds, they are considerably easier and much faster to do, even at a very low level. Because of this, many players do Ered Luin as their starter region or choose to finish its meta deeds first once grinding for virtues. Several players also farm the LOTRO points from the deeds by creating characters, doing the deeds, then deleting the characters and repeating the process. Given the speed of the deeds, the 130 LOTRO points quickly add up and allow you to purchase amazing premium perks and services from the LOTRO store. The Thorin's Hall rep is another great reward since it's not only needed to unlock your return to Thorin's Hall skill, but it also unlocks the ability to buy a goat and face Moria with a mount from the start. As with most reputation, progress in Thorin's Hall rep will also advance 4 tiers of deeds that give 5, 10, 15 and 20 LOTRO points respectively, for a total of 50 bonus LOTRO points on top of the previous 130. When it comes to requirements, Ered Luin deeds are the easiest regional deeds by far and can be done from as low as level 5. If you are doing the quest deeds, I highly recommend leveling an Ered Luin after the intro. If you want a faster run, level 10 or higher will help. Depending on your level and class, doing all Ered Luin deeds from scratch takes around 2 to 3 hours. Excluding all the quest deeds would make the run roughly 1 to 2 hours. Before we jump into the details of the various deeds, let's quickly look at a range of ways to speed up deeding in general. Slayer deed accelerators are great boosters if available. However, given Ered Luin is a starter zone and the required Slayer numbers are therefore much lower than later regions, I do not recommend them for Ered Luin deeds. Run boosts are another great buff to have, with multiple options to pick from. Coffee can be made by cooks but requires level 70 plus to use. Destiny points earned from leveling up can be spent on 5% run boosts. Then there are also premium run boosts and mount speed boost consumables that can be found from Hobbit gifts and rare drops or can be purchased from the auction house and LOTRO store. Another tip is to have a hunter in your fellowship for their Find the Path buff, with blue line hunters being even better since they can upgrade this buff as part of their trait line. Note that this is one great reason to have an alt account. Finally, milestone skills and their upgrades are very useful for traveling fast and some of the best LOTRO point purchases to make, especially when on sale. For Ered Luin deeds, having a milestone bound to a town with a swift stable route to Thorin's Gate, or one at Thorin's itself, will easily save you 10 to 15 minutes of running. If you've discovered the Brocken Borings stable route, then I'd recommend picking Delving as your bound milestone location, since from there you can also swift travel to Brocken Borings and then swift travel to Duilond. The quest deeds are 3 tiers: base, advanced, and final, requiring 10, 20, and 30 total Ered Luin quests to have been completed. Despite the low numbers, Ered Luin quests are fairly scattered, but we'll cover efficient routes for them in the map section later in the guide. Both the base and advanced deeds award 2000 Virtue XP and 10 LOTRO Points each, while the final is worth 4015 points. For rep rewards, the quests themselves will form the bulk of the rep earned, but the base deed gives a bonus of 300, advanced 500, and final 700. Excluding the quest rewards, finishing all 3 tiers therefore gives a total reward of 8000 Virtue XP, 1,500 Thorin's Hall reputation, and 35 LOTRO points. Looking at the Slayer deeds, there are 5 enemy types that must be defeated for the Slayer of Ered Luin meta deed: Dourhand Dwarves, Goblins, Hendreville, Spiders, and Wolves. Most of these deeds require defeating 30 enemies for the base tier and 60 more to complete advanced. Hendreville are the only exception, requiring 20 and 40 for the base and advanced versions respectively. Each of the base deeds awards a title, 5 LOTRO points, and 500 Thorin's rep, while the advanced tiers each award an additional 10 LOTRO points, 700 Thorin's rep, and 2000 Virtue XP. Completing all the base deeds would therefore earn you 25 LOTRO points and 2,500 Thorin's rep, while also doing all the advanced would earn a total of 75 LOTRO points, 6,900 Thorin's rep, 12,000 Virtue XP, and an extra 100 marks. Note that doing the Siege of Gondomon skirmish will progress several of the Ered Luin Slayer deeds and, depending on the skirmish group size, can be a slower or faster alternative to questing and farming spawns. As for the Exploration and Lore meta deed, Ered Luin only has 4 Explorer deeds, so only places to visit and no need to use any objects. These 4 deeds are linked to 4 races: the Elves, Dwarves, Goblins of Rath Tereg, and the Dourhand Dwarves. Each of the races have 5 places to visit, except for the Dourhands, which only has 4. Each also awards 5 LOTRO points, 500 Thorin's rep, and 2000 Virtue XP. Completing the meta deed awards a bonus of 900 Thorin's rep, 2000 Virtue XP, 3 rejuvenation potions, and 100 marks, giving a total of 20 LOTRO points, 2,900 Thorin's rep, and 10,000 Virtue XP. In the next sections of the guide, we will be looking at a range of maps that show quest hubs and questing routes, required exploration points, as well as optimal Slayer areas. If you consider maps of that nature a spoiler, and you are therefore done with the guide, I'd like to thank you for watching it. I hope it's helped you save a lot of time, and would appreciate a like and subscribe if it did. Ered Luin has a ton of good quest hubs and great progression between several of them, making 30 quests very easy to achieve. I recommend starting from Selondim, since it has a denser questing route than starting from Thorin's Gate. That said, Freren's Court has a range of quests for levels 5 to 7 that will also progress your Dourhand Slayer deeds. Noglond has a range more level 7 quests that will help you advance Goblin Slayer, as well as a level 9 quest leading you to Gondomon. Starting on the other side of the map lets you begin with Selondim quests, which range from level 6 to 10. As part of those quests, you make a stop at Nen Hillith, which has several more level 6 quests. Slightly to the north, Lemail's Vineyard is another decent hub with a few quick level 7 quests that will help progress your Goblin Slayer. Duilond has a large chunk of quests aimed at levels 9 to 15 that involve slaying goblins in Dol Ringwest. And Thrassy's Lodge also has some very fast level 10 to 13 quests that allow you to work on Hendreville Slayer while near the Bear Den. Gondomon has several more quests for levels 10 to 13 that will advance a range of the Slayers. And the Rath Terag Northern Barricade nearby also offers some level 12 quests in a goblin-infested area, but they can be tedious due to low spawn numbers. Finally, the Howdlin Ruins have a range more quests aimed at levels 12 to 14 that will advance some of your Dourhand and Spider Slayer, but then they transition to focusing on whites. Most of the enemy types required for the Slayer deeds are found at several places in the region. That said, the places I mention here are generally preferred due to the high density of mobs or fast spawns. Wolf Slayer has the lowest requirements of all the Slayers, given the best place to farm them is around the Nen Hillith Lake. While there are also wolves scattered throughout Ered Luin, Nen Hillith has the most in close vicinity, and their low levels and fast spawn times make them ideal for farming. Goblin Slayer is easily the fastest of the Slayer deeds, given the huge amount of goblins in Lemail's vineyard. Clearing it a couple of times is more than enough to finish the advanced deed. Several more can also be found in Crookdale and in the camps southwest of Noglond. Hendrevale Slayer is without doubt the most frustrating Slayer of the region. The only decent spot to farm them is at the bear den just north of Thrashy's Lodge, but you will need to clear all the spawns several times, and the spawn times can be quite slow. Since the den is also involved in several quests, it's often already been cleared by another player. My recommendation is to try and check in on it from time to time, while working on the other deeds in the region to save yourself waiting on spawns. The Grimwater and Kelladul also have a few spawns, but they aren't nearly as dense as the dens. Dourhand Slayer is much simpler, with a ton of viable farming spots all around Ered Luin. If you are grabbing quests in northern Howdlin Ruins, or going to discover the Grimwater, clearing all the Dourhands within will add a significant chunk of progress to your deed. However, my preferred spot is Kelladul, since it has so many spawns that it's nearly impossible to run out of targets if you're simply running a loop through it. Finally, Spider Slayer is also easy, with several spawning in southern Rath Tereg near Crookdale, but the fastest option being to farm them northwest of Thrashy's Lodge, south of the Wardspire. The area is infested with spiders, several of which are stealthed, so be sure to look left and right or zigzag while running through it to find all the hidden ones. Clearing the whole nest a few times will easily wrap up the advanced Slayer deed. For the Explorer deeds, there are a total of 19 locations to discover. Elven Ruins exploration is central to Selondim and Duilon, with Nen Hillith, Thamgalair, Lemail's Vineyard, and Dolringwest all being nearby. The exception is the Wardspire, which can be found in the far northeast. Places of the Dwarves can be found mostly at the other end of the map, with Freren's Court, Thorin's Gates, and the Silverdeep Mine all in the heart of the mountains. Noglond is further south, and Gondomon is the central hub between the elves and dwarves. The Dourhand dwarves are also quite central in the region. Ringdale is just northeast of Gondomon, the Grimwater is slightly further northeast, and Kelladul lies next to the river down the ramp east of Thrashy's Lodge. Rath Tereg lies just south of Gondomon, with the northern barricade being the entrance to it there. Naturally, the southern barricade is far to the south, on the opposite side of Rath Tereg. Tumagor can be found to the east of the northern barricade, and Amon Thunk in the middle of Rath Tereg. Finally, Crookdale can be found to the west of the southern barricade. Right, now let's put this all together in some full-run routes. Given the popularity of doing the entire meta deed straight after the introduction, whether to farm LOTRO points or to start leveling a character while also keeping virtues up to date, we will be covering both a full, quests included run, as well as a Slayer and Explorer only run for anyone simply returning to Ered Luin to come wrap up those. Both versions of the runs benefit from having a milestone bound somewhere that has swift stable routes to Thorin's Gate, or a milestone bound there, so, if you haven't already, make sure to bind your milestone before we get started. Both versions also end at Noglond, which is the closest town to Sarnur, so if you're going to be doing those level 45 deeds too, it would be worth first doing this run to save yourself some travel time. Make sure to have your bags ready for a lot of loot, grab your buffs and make your way to Selondim. If you are interested in the full version of the run that includes all the questing deeds and even recommended optional quests for extra experience, feel free to skip to that section of the guide now. Start by heading west out of Selondim and up the hill to discover Thamgaler. Head back down the hill and travel further southwest to discover Nen Hillith. Proceed to farm wolves around the pond until done with Advanced Wolf Slayer. Travel east, then far north. After crossing the little bridge, turn left at the split in the path and head west, running behind the big rock to the tower outside Laminil's vineyard. Proceed to farm goblins in the vineyard until done with Advanced Goblin Slayer. Next, leave the vineyard, then head north along the cliff face to discover Dol Ringwest. Now head to Rath Tereg's eastern entrance, a little north of Dol Ringwest. Follow the path inside southwest to discover the southern barricade. Next, go a little west, then up the path to the north until you discover Amon Thunk. Lower levels, be advised, the enemies up here are significantly stronger signature mobs, so try to avoid them and the risk of an overwhelming encounter. Once discovered, go back down the hill, then take the western path along the ground, turning left at the split, then follow it all the way to Crookdal. Follow the path all the way back to the eastern entrance, then take it all the way north to Tum Agor. Head back south along the path, then take the northwestern route at the split to reach the northern barricade. From here, head north through Gondamon, then slightly east to discover Ringdale. Now travel slightly southeast around the cliff, then north to the Grimwater. Run all the way through it, clearing it of Dourhands, and more notably Hendrevale to help boost their Slayer deed, then jump off the little cliff at the end. Head south and a little east to the Bear Den, north of Thrasi's Lodge. Clear all the Hendrevale around it, then head southeast to the ramp leading down to Keledal. Continue into Keledal, going straight, then left at the statue to the fire pit in front of a spire, clearing all the Dourhands in the way. Make sure you've discovered the spire of Keledal, else you may need to get a little closer still. Next, head east across the bridge, then south across another, before turning left and following the path to reach and discover the Keledal docks. Proceed to farm Dourhands and Hendrevale by running loops in Keledal until you wrap up Advanced Dourhand Slayer. Leave Keledal and head back up the ramp to go farm more Hendrevale at the Bear Den until you wrap up your Advanced Hendrevale Slayer. Note that you may need to spend a fair bit of time waiting on spawns here, so doing some crafting resource gathering or visiting Keledal and the Grimwater to go clear the Hendrevale there from time to time is recommended. When you've finally finished the region's most tedious Slayer deed, head slightly north and far east to get to the Spider Nest. Farm spiders until you wrap up Advanced Spider Slayer. Once done, head north out of the nest to the cliff face forming the northern edge of Ered Luin, then run east along the ridge to find the Ward Spire at the end. Use your milestone and swift stable routes to quickly get to Thorin's Gate. From the stables, head slightly east to discover Freren's Court, then run north along the path and up the stairs to find Thorin's Gate itself. From here, head back down one set of stairs, then cut east across the landscape and north through the little entrance leading to the Silverdeep mine. Finally, the very last requirement for our Ered Luin Deeds is to find Noglond, so head southwest to leave Thorin's Gate, then follow the route shown along the path all the way to Noglond. Congratulations on finishing your Ered Luin Slayer and Explorer deeds. That was a lot of steps, but you've got some great rewards for it. Next, we will be looking at the full Quests Included run. If this is where you are therefore done with the guide, I'd like to thank you for watching it. I hope it's helped you save a lot of time, and would appreciate a like and subscribe if it did. One quick note before we get started. This full run includes several of the prologue epic quests. While these quests don't count towards the region's questing deeds, they do flow perfectly with the rest of the run and unlock some of the non-epic quests we will be doing, which do count towards the deed. At Selondim, grab at the behest of Cardivore from Elian to the southeast, then head to the docks to finish it at Cardivore and get Unlike Avorthal. Also at the docks, speak to Lanen the Glade Watcher and accept in defense of the forest. Head further up the northern path and go up the stairs on the right to speak to Thinglair near the Vengers and grab Hallowed Ground. Go back down the stairs you came up with and head across the grass between the stables and central building to the stairs heading towards the crafting area. If you are also using this run to level, then atop those stairs grab Crafting a Terrace in Selondim from Mibrithil for some extra experience. Head up the path to the north and take the next set of stairs to the left. Go left at the top, and if you took the crafting quest, turn it in at Gwaloth just to the right. If you want to pick up a craft to work at or want some extra experience, now would be a great time to do the crafting quests available here. Next, head through the crafting area, then run around the building by the oven to get out of Selondim easily. While you travel, slay any Veil pests you see to chip away at in defense of the forest's objective. Head west and slightly north to discover Thamgaler, then complete Hallowed Grounds objectives until you're on the step to return to Thinglir. Slaying wolves for the required foes is a great idea since it both lets us start on our Wolf Slayer deed, plus gives the chance of getting an iron collar, which we will use shortly. This won't be the only opportunity to find the collar, so don't worry if you haven't got it before continuing. Once done using the pedestal, continue slaying Veil pests until you're done with all 6. Try travel south and slightly west while slaying, since the next stop is to discover Nen Hillith. Turn in defense of the forest and Unlike Avorthal, then grab all the available quests from the elves there. Once you've found an iron collar from a wolf, simply take it to Avorlas here to complete the collared quest. If you have overflowing bags, it may be there, but should auto-bestow the quest once in your inventory. If it doesn't, then right-clicking it should also work. Complete all the quests around the little pond, slaying all the wolves in sight, and continue farming them until done with Advanced Wolf Slayer. If you are a lower level, turning in the quests at the elves nearby as you finish them could speed up the wolf farming. Note that the elf satchel for Avorthal's favorite haunts can usually be found on the western or southern sides of the lake. Return to the elves at Nen Hillith to turn in Collard, Wood for Wine, the Wolves of Nen Hillith, then Trouble at Nen Hillith, and grab all the follow-up quests they offer. Also make sure you've spoken to Athal to advance Avathal's favorite haunts to the objective where you must return to Cardivore. Head east to the crafting area path we used earlier to leave Selondim. Speak to Brigadir in the crafting area to turn in Cooper and Cask, then accept need of a cask from him. Head down the stairs to the north to return to the Selondim docks. Turn in a word of warning at Lanen the Glade Watcher and Avorthal's favorite haunts at Cardivore, then accept the Wrath of the Elves from him. Run up the northern path back to Thinglair to turn in Hallowed Ground and accept Kelengel's Vigil. Proceed north, following the path out of town. After crossing the little bridge, turn left at the split in the path and head west, running behind the big rock to the tower outside Lamel's vineyard. Speak to Brethilwyn to turn in need of a cask, then accept Gleaning the Field and a rare vintage. Slay goblins in the vineyard while working on the quests until you've wrapped up the Advanced Goblin Slayer deed. Again, if you are a lower level, focusing on the quests and turning in those that finish at Brethilwyn before finishing with the goblin farm could speed it up. Also make sure to go get Pamprush all the way at the back of the vineyard for the Wrath of the Elves. Once done with the Slayers, and if you haven't already done so, go turn in Gleaning the Field and a rare vintage at Brethilwyn. Except return the cask from her and confirm that the Wrath of the Elves is on the step requiring you to return to Cardivore. Now use your milestone and, if needed, swift stable route to return to Selondim. Head to Cardivore at the docks to turn in the Wrath of the Elves, then accept the Master of the Refuge from him. Accepting this quest now allows us to pick up Leaving Middle-earth from Thorin at the stables. After picking it up, head back up the stairs to the crafting area and speak to Brigadir to turn in Return the Cask, then accept Gift for a Friend. If you happen to have the Brock and Boring Stable Master unlocked, you can swift travel to Duiland by taking swift routes to Mickle Delving, then Brock and Borings, then finally Duiland. You can easily check which stable masters you've unlocked at any time in the collections window, which can be opened with Shift-C by default. On the left, select the Stable Masters tab that has a horsehead icon, then search for any stable master in the bar at the top and check if the little dot on the map is yellow. If you don't have it unlocked, simply take a regular ride to Duiland and maybe go grab some snacks or take a quick bio while your character rides there for a few minutes. Once you are back at Duiland, head north up the path to find Kalengel next to the small fountain. Speak to him to turn in Kalengel's vigil, then accept Cleansing Draught. Head back south to the path, then east to the stairs leading to Duiland's various terraces. On the first terrace, speak to Dolengel and turn in Gift for a Friend. Proceed to the next terrace, then speak to Bregar to turn in Leaving Middle-earth and accept What Was Lost, then also Evil at Dolringwest. Next to him, speak to Dorangur Whitethorn to finish the Master of the Refuge and accept the Emissary. Proceed north along the terraces and down the sets of stairs to the path below. We quickly need to collect some herbs down by the river to unlock some more quests at Dolringwest. To get to the herbs, take the path west, but turn right off it, then double back to head back down the hill, hugging the right cliff face all the way to the riverbank. Gather your 3 herbs, then use the same route to get back to Duiland and use the first 2 sets of stairs inside. At the split, instead of taking the stairs to the terraces, follow the western path south directly to Kalengel at the fountain. Speak to him and turn in Cleansing Draught, then accept Cleansing the Ruins and a Cause for Concern. Now we are ready to go to Dolringwest. Head south out of town, then run west to get there. Go up the northern ramp, clearing it of goblins, then use the draught at the tower outside by right-clicking it in your quest tracker. Proceed inside and go left at the 3 paths, following it to the second tower right around the bend. Use your draught, then double back to the split and take the middle path. Exit it to the right and go right again to find the sword in the stone. Go through the opening to the left of the stones and turn left again to find Durglop. Slay him, then head back to Duiland. Speak to Kalengel to turn in both Cleansing the Ruins and a Cause for Concern, plus grab Glamour's Vigil. Head south, then east along the path to the terraces and north along them to Bregar to turn in both Evil at Dolringwest and What Was Lost, but don't take Now Is Found. Head north along the terraces and out of Duiland, then follow the path to Thrasi's lodge. Speak to Celeraint to grab a remarkable bow and to Thrasi to pick up the cat's meow. Head north to the abandoned bear den and use it to advance to the Hendreville slaying stage. Proceed to clear all the Hendreville in sight, then use the den again to coax out the lynx before returning to the lodge. If someone else is busy deeding, you may need to wait on some spawns, since this is the farming spot of choice for Hendreville Slayer, and we too will be returning here a few times still. Speak to Thrasi to turn in the cat's meow, and accept hungry mouths to feed. Search the woods behind the lodge for traps and use them until you find a rabbit, then go turn in the quest at Thrasi and accept Thistlemead. Go back to the bear den and slay all the nearby Hendreville again while collecting the surrounding sharp thistles. Return to Thrasi to turn in the quest and accept On the Mend, then feed the lynx next to him. Once back after her run, speak to Thrasi again to complete the quest. Now head to Gondomon by following the path west. At the split, don't go left or right, but instead go straight to enter Gondomon with this sneaky route. Stay on the upper level and head further west to Gaelthin to turn in the emissary and then accept the Elfstone. If you want some extra experience, also grab Suspicious Encampment, as well as warming the garrison and feeding the outpost from Dory and Gaffy down the stairs to the north, and a Sundered Shield from Askel at the top of the central stairs to the east. Now we will be heading to Ringdale by leaving Gondomon via the northern path, then heading north and slightly east. Once discovered, unless you are also doing a Sundered Shield and Suspicious Encampment for extra XP, head slightly southeast to find Glamour at some ruins. Otherwise, go deeper into Ringdale to use the shield on the stone pedestal and even deeper to defend Aglarken, who is hiding in some bushes. Make sure to clear the nearby dour hands before speaking to him, since his escape spawns could result in an overwhelming amount to handle for lower levels otherwise. Once defended, head south, back out of the camp, but hugging the eastern cliff, then slightly east to Glamour at some ruins. Upon reaching Glamour, speak to him to turn in Glamour's Vigil and the Elfstone, then speak to Larigel to grab Sickening of the Land as well as Webs of Sorrow, and finally speak to Nethi to grab Misplaced Cook. The rest of the quests available here won't be required for the deed, but feel free to grab all of them should you want some extra experience, since most of their objectives are en route. Head north to quickly go discover the Grimwater. Run all the way through it, clearing it of dour hands, and more notably Hendreville to help boost their Slayer deed, then jump off the little cliff at the end. Head south and a little east to the bear den north of Thrasi's lodge. Clear all the Hendreville around it, then head southeast to the ramp leading down to Kelladal. Go directly east to find Starkoth outside the walls of Kelladal, close to the north cliff face. Slay him to get the remarkable bow. Continue into Kelladal, going straight, then left at the statue to the fire pit in front of a spire, clearing all the dour hands in the way. Make sure you've discovered the spire of Kelladal, else you may need to get a little closer still. Next, head east across the bridge, then south across another, before turning left and following the path to reach and discover the Kelladal docks. Proceed to farm Dourhands and Hendreville by running loops in Kelladal until you wrap up Advanced Dourhand Slayer. Once done, head west out of Kelladal and back to Thrasi's lodge to turn in a remarkable bow. Quickly go clear all Hendreville around the bear den again, then head slightly north and far east to get to the spider nest. Clear spiders while heading into the nest and up the ramp to the south to find Bercy, the misplaced cook, the top, which should auto-complete the quest. Speak to them and accept Tangled Up, which we will be using to boost the spider spawns and speed up our Spider Slayer deed. Continue farming spiders nearby, making sure to frequently return to Bercy to protect him while he tries to escape. His attempt spawns extra spiders, so don't be fooled in thinking he is safe because there are no visible spawns. Before he leaves the nest, be sure to open your quest log and cancel the quest, then continue farming spiders and check on the hill from time to time to see if Bercy has respawned yet for us to use once again. Repeat this process of farming and partially doing Tangled Up until you have wrapped up Advanced Spider Slayer. Once done, head north out of the nest to the cliff face forming the northern edge of Ered Luin, then run east along the ridge to find the ward spire at the end. Now head all the way back west to Glamour at the ruins. If you still need to wrap up Advanced Hendreville Slayer, now is the time to go make another stop at the bear den near Thrasi's lodge and farm it until done. Also, if you are doing the extra quests involving Barrow Wights, make sure to do them en route to Glamour. Once back at Glamour's ruins, speak to Larigel to turn in Sickening of the Land and Webs of Sorrow, which should complete the Hero of Ered Luin deed. Congratulations. After turning in, if you took any of the extra XP condiment quests earlier, now is the ideal time to go turn them in too. Head south of Gondamon to Rath Tereg and discover the northern barricade there. Now take the eastern path, then go north at the split to discover Tum Agor. Head back south down the path, but continue following it all the way to the southern barricade. Next, go a little west, then up the path to the north until you discover Amon Thunk. Lower levels, be advised, the enemies up here are significantly stronger than signature mobs, so try avoid them and the risk of an overwhelming encounter. Once discovered, go back down the hill, then take the western path along the ground, turning left at the split, then follow it all the way to Crookdal. Use your milestone and swift stable routes to quickly get to Thorin's Gate. From the stables, head slightly east to discover Freren's Court, then run north along the path and up the stairs to find Thorin's Gate itself. From here, head back down one set of stairs, then cut east across the landscape and north through the little entrance leading to the Silverdeep mine. Finally, the very last requirement for our Ered Luin Deeds is to find Noglond, so head southwest to leave Thorin's Gate, then follow the route shown along the path all the way to Noglond. Congratulations on finishing your Ered Luin meta deeds. That was a ton of steps, but you've got some great rewards for it. I also want to thank you for watching my guide. As always, I hope it's helped you save a lot of time, and would appreciate a like and subscribe if it did.